Hi everyone, finally getting around to making an introductory video for you. Just a few things that I need to cover here under general information on your syllabus. A couple of points that are sort of important that I'd like for you to make note of. To start with, I prefer to be emailed through my West Georgia email address, bprint@westga.edu. If you'll please identify yourself with WebMBA 6080. And this is an old number, the old Google Voice number here, and I have a new work number, but I don't remember it right now. I'll have to get that and update that number right there, but for the most part, email works for everything, but I'll get that number. I just got a new phone number from work, so I'll get that. Most of the time, I respond fairly quickly. The rule that I go by, that I try to go by, is that I'll make you a 24-hour attempt and a 48-hour promise. Most of the time, it's much quicker than 24 hours, unless you email me at 9 o'clock at night. It's going to be the next morning. But if for some reason you email me and ask a question and you have not heard back from me in 2 days, then I'd like for you to send me a message back, because I may have let your message slip, and I don't want to do that. So please, if you don't hear from me in 2 days, then please get back with me. As for weekends, this is sort of a caveat for this class, because I really don't think there are very many emergencies in academia. So there's really nothing that is just a life or a death situation in this class at all. So on weekends, I tend not to respond unless there's a message that comes through that I think I just absolutely have to respond to. But if it's things that I think can wait, I may notice that it's there, and I'll kind of, in the back of my mind, have a game plan of the messages and everything that I need to respond to on Monday. But I try not to work over the weekends. But if there's something that is important, then I'll try to get back with you. But no, on Sundays, I really don't. I try not to look at my email at all on Sundays. So just be a little more flexible with me on the weekends and holidays. There's a couple of times where I'll be out of town over the summer, but I'll always let you know ahead of time when there are situations where I will be a little slower to respond. And that's the main thing that I would like for you to do with me as well, is just communicate with me ahead of time. If you're going to be traveling with work or something, and you know that you're going to be a little pressed for time on an activity or an assignment or a project, let me know ahead of time, and most of the time I'm flexible. I am much more interested in you completing the academic work that I have prepared for you, and being able to put good effort into it, than I am you throwing something together because you're going to be out of town. You've only got a couple of hours, so you just throw something together to get it turned in by the deadline. I would rather you take your time, turn it in 2 days late, and do good work. That said, I can't do that for everybody. It's never been a problem. There's always been only 1 or 2 people every once in a while that have something come up, and I'll work with you. In general, it's very helpful to stick with the deadlines, because then I can get everything turned around and graded quickly. But if you do have something come up, just let me know, and I'll work with you on it. As far as the course goes, my main goal here is for you to develop a good vocabulary of some of the technologies that you already hear people talking about. I want you to understand not only what the technologies are, but I want you to have some models in your mind and ways to think about this technology that can help you to make informed technology-related decisions, or to analyze politely and quietly within yourself the technology decisions that are made by your superiors. So that's sort of my goal for the course, is for you to leave the class and be able to carry on a conversation with your technology support group and be able to give meaningful feedback when there are questions. I've already covered the talk to me policy. I mentioned already in another video, or maybe another message, that all work is due by 12 noon. It's marked late and will be subject to 50% penalty if you don't let me know ahead of time. If you let me know, then I'll work with you on it. Okay, but just go ahead and etch that into your memory that for my class, everything is going to be due at 12 noon on Monday. That sounds like a weird time, but a lot of people in the past, I tried to set it at midnight on Sunday night, but some people work on the weekends on their schoolwork, and they wanted, that extra hour till 1 o'clock or something. They were just in the middle of it, and 12 midnight was not enough time. So I pushed it back till noon, so that way if you're up late working on something, for me, I would rather you not turn it in right then, but go to sleep, get up, and just scan it the next morning, because I know sometimes when I'm working on something late, I'll look at it the next day and I'll think, wow, that's not what I thought I said. So 12 noon gives you time to try to finish it Sunday night, review it Monday morning, and then submit it to be by noon Eastern time. As far as your course grade, your first activity, the workflow and covering your bases activity is worth 8% of your final grade, and you'll notice that there's no 675 points in this class, and you've got to get whatever 615 of those to have an A in the class. I just set it all up on 100 points. Whatever percentages it is what it's worth. Some people don't like that because you've got chapter quizzes that are due every week. They're only worth 2 points apiece, but they're a good bit of work. But collectively, all 11 of those quizzes are more than 2 letter grades. You have 3 exams. Each of those will total 10 points, but you do those as individual essay questions. So you might have 2 essay questions on an exam, and they're both worth 5 points. So everything just adds straight up to a total of 100 points possible. But this also helps you to kind of see where I think the weight of the class is. Obviously, the most heavily weighted item are the exams, and those are essay exams. You have a week to put your thoughts together on these essays, and I'll give you some more details on those as we get closer. But the quizzes are also important because the quizzes force you to go through the chapter material. And this is a book. This book is dated. I realize that. It's about 4 or 5 years old. We are meeting as a group to update our text this coming fall. But the theories and things that are in the book are not dated. Some of the examples and the cases are dated, but the concepts are still very much up to date. You might read about some technology that has changed, but the things that we're talking about are deeper than technology itself. We're talking about how the technology is implemented, how the technology is applied, ways to think about the technology. So the fact that we might be looking at a case that's 4 or 5 years old really doesn't change anything. If we were looking at a case written yesterday, we would be looking at the same parts of the case as we are today. So the quizzes force you to work through the book. The Netflix paper is a SWOT analysis on Netflix, emerging trends presentation. This is your only group project in the whole semester, is the emerging trends presentation. And then finally your CIO project. Both of these come at the end, so I'll give you more details on those as we get to them. Don't worry about them now. If you want to read ahead in the content, you can. So for this week, you need to be working on step 1, information systems in your job. You start here, and what I have is some videos that explain to you the covering your bases model and a description of workflow. And what I'm looking for is for you to think about how some data flows within your organization. It doesn't have to be all the data, it can't be that, but maybe there's a specific process that you're very familiar with, or maybe there's a certain piece of information that comes in from outside the organization, and wherever that lands, it changes who does what within your organization, and then they take the data and do something else with it. And maybe it's a process that includes internal and external people. I don't know. I'm not real specific on what the process is, but think about some process within your organization. And I want you to outline the flow of data. Where does the data come from? Where does the data go? Who uses the data? What processes are involved? And the main thing here is to get you thinking about how technology supports the flow of data through your organization. I had someone send me an email and ask about formatting and length. How long does it need to be in what format? And I give no specifics on either. I tell everybody that I want you to use the Goldilocks rule. If you've never heard the story of Goldilocks, she, went into the three little bears' home, and one porridge was too hot, one was too cold, but one was just right. One bed was too hard, one bed was too soft, but there was another one that was just right. So that's what I want with your essays and your reports that you're writing here. They can be too long. If I said that I wanted it to be 5 pages, some of you would really struggle to get to 5 pages. Your just right might be 3 pages, so then to make my 5-page mark, you would add 2 pages of fluff. I don't like to read fluff. Some of you are going to have so much to say that 5 pages would be 2 pages short, and you're going to want 7 pages. So for you, you would have to cut out meaningful information to fit my 5-page mark. So I don't give you a mark to write to. My thing is I want this to be just as long as it needs to be for you to sufficiently cover the concepts here and no longer. I don't want any fluff, but I also don't want you to take anything out. I also give you complete free creative license on the format. Okay? Don't try to make it long by double spacing. That makes no difference to me. But make it look professional. Sometimes I get these and I open it up and I'm automatically impressed. There's a cover page, there's some colors and designs on it, and then there's a nice breakdown in the body of the article and what you've written, and there's headers, and it's easy to read. It just looks nice. Well, I'm impressed to start with. And then I get some essays and it is block text, no paragraphs, no indentation, no headers, no titles. It's just straight top to bottom text, like you sat down and started typing and didn't stop and then click submit. And so that's not what I want. But I don't give you a specific. I'm not looking for a certain font size, a certain margin. And you know what? Neither would your boss. If your boss asked you to give them a report, they wouldn't give you specifics, but you would put your best foot forward to make it look nice. And that's what I want you to do for me. So do that and turn it in as a PDF, and that rule applies to everything that we do this semester. All of your exams, your essays, I never, ever, ever give a length requirement or a format requirement. I completely leave that up to you. But if, when I'm reading it, I feel like it's not in depth enough, I'm going to give you a bad grade on it. If it's a grade out of 5, I might give you a 1 out of 5 and send it back to you and tell you the areas that I think you need to do a little more thought and let you rewrite it and send it back to me. A lot of times on the first couple of essays you turn in, I've got a lot of rewrites that I send back. Once people get the feel for how I grade and what I'm looking for and what I expect, I have a lot less toward the end of the semester. So I'm going to guide you until I think that you are thinking the way an MBA should be thinking. So I'm going to force you to keep working. Most people come out of my class with an A. The people that don't get an A in my class are the ones that don't take the time to rewrite their work. And they're the ones that don't get the good grades. But if you're willing to do the work, I'm willing to hang in there with you until you make a good grade and until you get your work up to MBA quality level. Okay, so that's the first activity. That's what I'm looking for. And I think I've covered the gist of the course here. Everything's due on Mondays with the one exception of Memorial Day. And I have backed up that particular assignment to be due on Tuesday. So I've got 2 dates highlighted. This date here because it's not a Monday. All the rest of them are. And this date here is highlighted because it's a Tuesday. And that's when exam 1 is going to be due. And in fact, I may back it up another day because I don't want you working on Memorial Day. There's not very many holidays that everybody gets. Most everybody gets Memorial Day, and I don't want you working on exam 1 then. Now it's open. It won't be open until the week before. You'll have plenty of time to do it, but I may still back it up until Wednesday just to give you, as my way of saying to you, take Monday off. Because if I leave it due on Tuesday, somebody's going to be writing their exam 1 on Monday. So in fact, let me go ahead and change it. I will go ahead and make this 5/27, 2015. So that's going to be due on Wednesday. Everything else, though, is due on a Monday. So let me know if you have any questions. Send them to me at bprince@westga.edu. One final comment, I would like for everyone to go into Brightspace D2L and click on your name and go to notifications. Under notifications, please subscribe to news item available and news item updated for my class, at least these. I would also recommend that you subscribe to grade item release and grade item updated for my class, and you can get text message or email notifications, and you can customize. If you don't want any notifications from other classes, you can manage course exclusion so that you only receive those from mine. But when I post a news item, it's nice for you to get that in your email. And here's a couple of reasons why. Because I will embed a video update like this one in the message, and I'll put a link in it so that from your work email or personal email, you get the message. You can watch my video and get the update without having to go log into the system. So you can stay informed even outside of the system. So please take time to do that. And otherwise, I believe I've covered enough for tonight. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to getting your workflow and CYB essays on Monday.